I began as a small child living here in Philadelphia, and I was about 8 when my mom met D'Artagnan Norton. Um, he was a pretty nice guy. However, he wasn't the best fit for my mom that I thought of. Um, in my opinion, he was helpful in a way, but he wasn't helpful in the emotional and fatherly aspects. I experienced a lot of bullying and a lot of hate because of the fact that I was trying to find myself. I would get called, "Oh, you're gay," or "Oh, you're pretty white," but it wasn't the aspect or the fact that I was white. It was just the fact that I talked really formally for a black kid, and teachers didn't know how to handle me because they thought I was um, too much, being too loud, or being too hyperactive, or just being too outgoing when it came to talking to students or even talking to teachers. So I began to shelter myself. I would go home and I would cry. It was really hard because I don't think that my stepdad really understood who I was as a person, and he didn't really try to get to know me. So my stepdad would leave me at home by myself, and he would tell my mom, "Oh, he's fine. He's old enough to be at home by myself." However, I'm 8 or 9 years old, so there's no possible way that an 8 or 9 year old can take care of themselves on their own. He would say really annoying things like, "Oh, you're too weak," or "You're too soft." And I don't think he really understood that it took a jab at, myself. Like it took a jab at my personality and my own being, because I didn't really know how to cope with things. And it wasn't hurting me to the point where I would cry, but it angered me. It made me dislike him and rather not want to be around him. And it became even worse when I would go to school. People would talk about me, or people would say things about me, and I would expect them to be my friend, but they're not. You know, it's really hard being an 8-year-old or 9-year-old going into your elementary school and trying to find your group of friends or figure out who actually likes you for being you, but you can't even do that because no one's allowing you to really be yourself. So my teacher at one point, she suggested that I be put on ADHD medicine or something of the sorts because I was too hyperactive. I was just showing senses or moments where I was really hype and I was really outgoing and I was just really loud, but that was just my character. And even when I go to the principal for help about being bullied, I'd be the one who was somehow getting in trouble, or my feelings would be toned down for the benefit of the other children. She'd say, "I don't think they were being that serious," or "I don't really think that they meant it in that way." And it was just, it wasn't fair at all. And I don't think that I could really calculate that. I didn't know how to channel that. One day I was home, and it's really hard because in that moment, I don't know how I felt. I was just looking into my closet, and it was my belt next to me. And I took the belt and I wrapped it around my neck, and I went to the closet and I tried to hang myself. However, that didn't work. So I just sat there and sat. And I thought to myself in that moment, like, what do you really, what are you doing? That was the only question that I could really bring to myself is, what are you doing? And in that moment, I just sat for a minute and I was left at that. And then it took me a day or two to tell my mom. And, she explained to me, she sat for a minute and she looked at me and she said, "Well, I've been experiencing these same feelings too." And I didn't really know how to process that. She just gave me a really long and large hug. It was really a deep moment for us, but something had to give. Like, we both knew that that's not, we shouldn't feel like this at all. As a mother and a son, we shouldn't feel like this.